This bike belongs to none other than epic adventure rider Hans Ray. The guy is a mountain bike legend, and this is his custom GT Everb. Let's take a look at this bike in some finer detail. So let's take a look at the frame that Hans is using. This is a size medium as well. It's an aluminium frame, 135mm rear wheel travel. It's also mated with that Shimano E8000 motor and 500 watt-hour battery as well. So a nice solid package there for Hans when he's out on those epic adventures. Let's take a look at the cockpit of Hans's bike. It's provided by sponsors SQlab, so it's totally custom. Got a 30X handlebar on there, 780mm length, matched up with the SQlab 711 grips. What I do notice about Hans's setup is very ergonomic. The sweep on the handlebars is 12-degree back sweep, so it's a very different feel and probably a really comfortable setup out on the trail, so those big rides that Hans does. Up front, Hans is running a 65mm stem, matched up with one 5mm spacer underneath that, giving that a really comfortable position out on the trails. So let's talk about the suspension on Hans's Everb. Up front, we've got that Fox Factory 34 fork, 130mm travel, air fork as well, so it's totally adjustable. It's got that Kashima coating on there. This is actually the e-bike optimized version, so you've got a stronger crown, steerer, and the uppers, so it's actually, you know, a lot stronger for those bigger hits. On the rear, we've got the Fox Evo air shock as well, meaning that Hans can totally customize this bike to whatever style of riding he's doing. So the rubber that Hans is using on his front wheel is from the sponsors Vittoria. This is the Martello tyre 2.7. It's also matched up with a airliner foam insert, so it's really going to protect those wheels when he's out on the trails too. So front wheel choice is a Stan's Baron rim. This is the 35mm rim, so it's giving that front tyre a big profile out on the trail too, to taking those big hits. Also, this is a 32-hole version on the front, so a nice lightweight, strong setup front wheel for Hans. So the wheel size of choice on his Everb is 650B. On the back, we've got that Vittoria Martello tyre too. This is the actual e-bike version, so it's got a lot thicker sidewalls. The tread's going to last a lot longer, and it's going to give a hell of a lot of grip. On the back, we've got that Baron rim from Stan's as well, another 32-hole wheel. So that whole wheel package is on Hans' bike. It's going to be light, dependable. It's got that all-important rubber when it comes to e-bike too. Big hitting tyre on the front, lots of grip, stability, and protection on the rear. So Hans is running a Crankbrothers highline seat post, 150mm dropper on this bike, matched up with an SQlab seat. This is actually an e-bike Pacific seat, so it's got a nice raised upper. It's going to be pushing your weight forward on those climbs. So it's also going to support those pelvic bones a lot better. This saddle actually floats around quite nice, so a really nice saddle there, and a really comfy setup for Hans on those big rides. So let's take a look at the drivetrain on Hans's bike. It's got an 1142 XT cassette on there, matched with an XTR medium cage Mech with a Shimano clutch system. So up front, we've got that 34 tooth chainring, Shimano E8000 motor, paired with a 170mm cranks and Crankbrothers stamp in a small as well. So stopping power is provided with Shimano on this bike, 180 rotors front and rear. Hans is actually going to upgrade these brakes to the 4-pot XT version, like he's got on his other e-bikes, giving that a lot more stopping power out on the trails. But let's get Hans in himself. Let's talk to him a little bit more detail about this bike. So here he is, the man himself, Hans Ray, and this is his GT Everb. We're going to talk through a little bit about the custom setup that Hans has got on this bike. Hans, talk to me about the handlebars and stem on this bike.
Well, the handlebars and stems are from SQlab, and they like all their products, very ergonomic. I have a 12-degree sweep, and these grips, they mold it in the palm of your hand. They feel really comfortable, and they're kind of soft in a way, so they even absorb, you know, on the trail. And same goes with the SQlab saddle. This one is an e-bike specific model. They have the 60X, which not only has a lot of grip, which is sometimes important when you climb up steep stuff, but it also has this different levels here that
and a long nose
that really help you, you know, to avoid numbness in that area. Other than that, like I run flat paddles when I ride usually. These are the Crankbrothers stamps, and they come in 2 sizes. I run the smaller size. On the e-bike, I feel like it's more likely that you hit your pedal on rocks or so. So with the smaller pedal, you have a bit more clearance there.
So let's take a look at the tyres as well on this bike. Talk to us about the tyres. You mentioned the e-bike Pacific as well.
Yeah, Vittoria came out with this e-bike specific Martello tire. Martello is a very popular model. They have in all different sizes, and I run them on all my bikes actually. And the Martello, for the e-bike specific one, they have a really strong casing that helps you with the puncture protection. On top of that, I actually still run an airliner inside, which is a foam insert they came out with that really allows you to run super low air pressure.
You said as low as 10 psi, right?
Yeah, I run them as low as 10 psi sometimes, and the traction is just unbelievable. It's the tire, you have so much more footprint on the trail.
Also, let's talk a little bit about the suspension on your bike as well. Is there any setup techniques that you use? What sort of pressure are you running out on the trails? I noticed yesterday on our trials challenge you were locking that shock out as well, so making that bike a little bit more like a hardtail as well. Something that's pretty cool to have on the rear, isn't it?
Yeah, depends when you start hopping around trial stuff, you know, you don't want too much movement on the bike. It's too much you fighting against. So, but on a regular trail ride, I run the suspension harder than on a normal bike because there's more weight involved. You don't want your bikes sagging too much, you know. Like on this bike, I have about 1/3, you know, 30% sag, and in the front I'm running, Fox makes an Optimised fork that's e-bike specific, and the internals are actually same than at the regular Fox forks, but it has a stronger crown and steer tube.
So for those big hits, it's a lot stronger, a lot more dependable. So there you go. I really hope you've enjoyed checking out Hans' GT Everb and the custom setups from the man himself too. If you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out me and Steve, the trial video, where we take our bikes into the woods, try out some trials techniques, something that Hans is a master of. If you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to EMBN by clicking that globe in the middle. Drop us some comments in the box below, and we'll see you in the next one.